Namaste, beautiful souls, and welcome to this episode of Truth and Tarot Time, where we have guests, guidance, and tarot wisdom. And I am super excited with today's guest, the beautiful Magic Mel. I call her Magic Mel. I'm sure you'll understand why. um, and Magic Mel and I, welcome. It's Melanie, Magic Mel, Annie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Um, we actually don't know. We were just talking off camera that we don't really know each other that well, but we've just kind of clicked. I've been following her on Facebook, and she's obviously been following me on Facebook. We've actually only met in person once, which was an excited experience. Um, but I really wanted to get Magic Mel on. She also reads tarot, so we'll be doing a card reading and both giving our interpretation of that. And she does some lovely, inspiring things, which you're going to hear about. So let's dive in. We'll dive into the card reading, and we're going to ask, what wisdom is there today? What tarot wisdom is there today for us to share and for us to focus on? And what guidance? Can we have some guidance? Thank you. There we go. You have to talk to the cards, right?
Yeah.
Right. The first one out was the moon, which I'm not surprised about because of the blue full moon that we've just had. It was really, really powerful, wasn't it? And the moon, of course, major arcana, psychic insights, deep level healing, and seeing things that have been hidden. That's what is definitely relevant to me. Loads of downloads and things that we were not aware of coming to our attention. And of course, we've got the domestic dog and the wolf, which shows our two sides, whether it be the angel and the devil, or the left and the right, or whatever you want to. It's integrating it, not preferring one over the other, but integrating it on our path of evolution from the sea. And the pillars show our destiny going up that's our path of destiny. And actually, these little drops are it's the Hebrew alphabet, it's the Yod, which actually symbolizes divinity. So this card shows that although there may be some hidden stuff coming up and it may not all feel lovely, it's showing you that it is actually divinely guided and it is all part of our divinity. So I'm loving that. That's a powerful card. We've got the Queen of Cups, which for me, she's the queen of feeling. She's the following your heart. She's mastered her emotions and she understands that following her feeling is the most important thing. She follows her heart more than her mind. And she remembers to put the heart first and then activate the mind. So she's all about the feeling and she's very influential. And yeah, she's very compassionate and kind, and she understands the importance of expressing those qualities to herself before others, which sounds selfish in the beginning, but of course it isn't, because we go from serving the self in its negative connotation to serving others, where we all kind of want to be, we all gravitate to that point. And then we realize, and funny enough, we touched on this, didn't we, before we pressed record? But then we move on to the fact that actually serving ourselves, not at the detriment of others, but serving ourselves is service to humanity. We realize that when we understand the quantum truths behind that polarity. We've got the Four of Wands, which of course is celebration and commitment. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? This is celebrating. It's the wedding card, of course, but it doesn't have to be wedding bells, but it's people coming together to co-create, which is what Magic Mel and I are doing at the moment. And it's what we're doing with everything, whether we're doing classes, workshops, whatever we're doing, we're bringing people together in order to co-create. So it's beautiful. And there's some kind of commitment there. And what I like about that is that the castle, most of the cards in tarot have the castle in the background because the castle represents our goals in life. And usually they're quite distant from us, but not now, not anymore. Look, they are dancing in front of the castle. So it's firm foundations. It's physical action in the physical world because it's wands. So it is passionate and bold action, but it's working with other people to create something beautiful and something new, to like give birth to something. So unlike, a wedding and giving birth to a child, this is kind of like coming together with people to give birth to the new earth or heaven on earth or however you want to view it. So it's definitely a celebration card. So what's happening with all of this work going on the inside? We've got the Tower card. Now, this will be interesting. I mean, I've talked openly about the Tower card experience that I had, which led me to the garden retreat. So I'll be interested to hear of any Tower card moments that you may have had, Mel. So yeah, what are those cards saying to you?
Wow, I love your insights, first of all, Deborah. I really do. And it's interesting because I pulled a little set for myself this
Oh,
week,
okay.
and the underlying card was
Oh.
card. So I had to smile when you pulled that as the first card. I'm like, yep.
This is the one that jumped out.
So yeah, absolutely, we had a strong full moon, and now looking back, it helps me realize that what I was going through just over the weekend. Oh yeah, it was the full moon. It amplified everything. I love your interpretation. For me, it's also about, the subconscious. So we operate so much, me at least, I'm half German, so much up here. I constantly need to bring myself back to this kind of sensing, no? So for me, it's also this message of slowing down and stopping to try and figure things out on the mental level, but really take a moment to sense our way forward. So the subconscious now, yes, exactly. Speaking to us in symbols, speaking to us in sensations, in nudges, rather than from here. So allowing the moon in that sense to infuse our subconscious and to, like you mentioned, bring up these subconscious messages so that they will kind of percolate into clarity, just like an espresso. But it takes that time, and it takes us to take this pause and to tune in. So instead of tuning out with the mind and being again in the future and the past, tuning into the body, tuning into our dreams, also now this powerful time to connect with our dreams and trusting our subconscious emergences, these messages that come up from the subconscious. And also, for me, the two towers, they represent the kind of more our rigid, sometimes our rigidness, no? So like you mentioned, our path evolution of our consciousness going beyond the maybe more calcified or rigid structures of our mind, allowing ourselves to let them go and to be more fluid and to allow this divine guidance, like you said, to come through and to surrender to that. So a time to tune into subconscious messages, our dream life, our sensing body, our feeling body, and trusting that above all. And yes, the Queen of Cups, connecting with our heart. And Deborah, for me, this has been a time of softening. So the Queen of Cups is, you mentioned it very beautifully, first of all, connecting to our own feelings and having the courage to not judge them, shame them, or make them anything other than what they actually are. So having this inner capacity to really, and it takes strength, she's a queen after all, to have the inner fortitude to allow to connect with these emotions, allow them to be there and wash through her without shame or judgment. That and it's staying connected to the heart space. Now, sometimes our heart wants something, the mind wants something else, and we tend to shame our heart. But staying with the heart and communicating with it, trusting it, and staying connected to feeling where it would be easier to dismiss them or easier to bulldoze them or override them with our reactionary behaviors.
Yeah, to try, yeah, it is about trusting the heart, isn't it? Because very often what the heart wants doesn't make sense to us from a logical perspective. And so therefore we tend to dismiss it. And because we can't see, like if the heart wants us to do something in particular and we can't see how that's going to happen, it's even easier to dismiss it, isn't it? And it's not always from shame, it's sometimes from just not believing and that like not trusting. not trusting the heart. But I always think, ask yourself the question, why does your heart want it? Other people's hearts don't want it. So why does your heart want it? It's in your heart for a reason. It's for you to manifest or for you to create or, what have you. Brilliant, brilliant. Loving it, loving it. What have you got for this one?
Yeah, so here it's really about foundations, no? So we've come this far, we've erected the foundations. It's also this moment of pausing now and like realizing, wow, we've built this foundation. Where do we go from here? And are there any cracks? What does it take to continue sustaining and building on this solid foundation that we've constructed so far? And like you said, yes, attracting, co-creators, collaborators into our world. And I love that you said, celebration. We are in June and we've come midway through the year. What can we celebrate so far in 2026? There's so much, I mean, there's all kinds of news out there, but can we also filter that out and recognize from the minute daily things we can cherish and celebrate to our relationships and again ourselves? So the Queen of Cups cherishing her own heart. And where can we go from here? What do we want to build consciously coming from
Yeah.
here?
And following our joy, of course,
Yes.
and firm foundations, because it does follow on, doesn't it? Because what the heart wanted here, and we were saying we might dismiss it through shame or through not trusting it or what have you. It's understanding that actually by celebrating it and finding the joy, because what's in our heart is what brings us the joy. And it's about celebrating the joy, and we don't have to do anything. It doesn't even have to be for a reason, you know. I remember when I first told my husband, "Oh, I'm going to do truth and tarot time." It just came to me, like, first thing in the morning, when you wake up, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." It's making me really excited. And his response was like, "Why? Why?" And I was like, "Well, no, just because I want to." My left brain hadn't gone into gear. So it's that kind of follow that kind of excitement, isn't it? Um,
Yes.
and yeah, and where are we going from here? Because this is like a beginning, isn't it? Like you said, the portal is there, the foundations are firm, the goals have already been achieved. It's like now it's up to us just to celebrate life, enjoy life, co-create, and do what brings us joy. So I'm interested to know, what are we going to say about this one, the tower?
I mean, I feel that the energy is moving very, very fast. So wherever we are clinging to the old, or I mean, it's such a human thing, you know, we tend to hold on to things out of what of comfort or security because we think this is the right thing. Talking again about those rigid towers, no, which one of them is here exploding, but
Mm.
we don't. The bigger picture, I mean, the divine, I call it Mahadev, has that grander vision. So there's our small cells here, which are not to be discarded, dismissed, but we only can see so far, you know. So when we hold on to things that already have expired there or past their expiration date, then the tower, the universe must come in and pull the rug from under our feet so that that change, which is for the best of us, can take place. Now we can. I always say better flow with the energy. I tell myself, but but if we don't flow with it, then the tower irreversibly comes in because the change is necessary either or for the highest good of everyone, your good and the highest good of everyone. And it might look in the moment like we're easy to or fast to put labels, good, bad, this, that, but actually the tower in the moment might look like maybe a unexpected change or maybe devastation or some loss. But in the zooming out, especially if you look back in your life, those tower moments, they were essential in like big growth spurts or just redirecting you back into alignment and your purpose and your true path. So I would say don't be scared of the tower. If the tower is hitting you, you know, talking about the heart now, hold yourself, all is well, and trust the sense of trust that even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment, trust, have certainty that things are moving in the right alignment and redirecting you. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, so the tower card for me, I was like, what is going on? It's disruption and chaos, isn't it? And it can be on all levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, all sorts of ways. But as I've said before, the garden retreat was born out of my tower card moment. And one of the affirmations that I had been using was, I am ready and willing to allow my full potential. And
Sometimes we have to be careful what we wish for because I always do that too, and then I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
exactly. And our mutual friend Liz, she was the one that said to me, Deborah, you forgot to say with ease and grace.
Yeah,
But
with
it's
these.
true. I was literally affirming that. And then the tower card moment came, and then the garden retreat was born. So it really is a case of just and being a little bit curious, like what's going on, because the way I look at it is this is the light, this lightning coming in that's causing the tower to crumble. This is light. It's pure light. It's high frequency coming in. And if you're not where your soul wants you to be, if you're not where you're destined to be, then the universe has ways of taking you there. And beautifully so when you trust, like Mel says, when you trust. But there is that, what do they say? Oh no, I can't remember it now. I was going to say, oh, change. Yeah, it says change isn't painful. It's the resistance to change that is painful. I think that's something that is relevant. But of course, we also know that the biggest this is the things crumbling. We've seen it in the collective, because the collective being a reflection. So we've seen all the systems crumbling in the collective, but it's our own belief systems, isn't it, that are shifting, and that's what's actually causing it. So we're not a victim to it. We are actually the catalyst for the tower card. And the beautiful thing about it is, whether you know it or not, just trust that it's taking you where your soul wants you to go. And when you take a step towards what your soul wants, then there's this glorious, abundant path waiting for you. And the other thing is, of course, I mean, I don't have it here in the reading, but the next card in tarot with the major arcana is the star card, which is heaven on earth and your true essence coming through. So, yeah. So, have you had a particular tower card moment? I mean, one that was, I mean, there's lots of little ones, I think. We have the little ones all the way through, don't we? But do you have a memorable one at all, or some big change or whatever when you noticed your life change, your path change?
I mean, I had a massive one in 2019 where, yeah, I was in such major resistance to life and in fear, and so took it pushed me to almost to the point of breaking, where I finally surrendered. I surrendered my ego because I just didn't know any way forward, and I said I did. I wasn't. I didn't really have faith until that point. Let's put it that way. But in that moment, I did say a prayer, and I called upon. I was lying in my bed and I said, "Okay." I spoke with the devil earlier because I said, "Devil, just take away this pain." But then a friend said, "Mel, you might as well talk to God now." I was rolling my eyes, but I said that night, "You know what? Let's just do it. I have nothing to lose at this point." So I said this invocation where I said, "You know what, Lord," a bit challenging almost. I said, "If you really exist, you angels and all of that, then help me." And I promise that, I will make something worthwhile and beautiful out of this all of this pain up to that point. And I remember there was a Catholic prayer which I just remembered, but it went something like, "Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but just say the word and I shall be healed." But I flipped it and I said, "You know what? Lord, I am worthy to receive you. Just say the word and I shall be healed." And the next day, that was the beginning of my major healing journey. From the bottom up, I came
Wow.
back. I was here in Spain in this house, Casa Lili, had to face my past. And then, I started this healing journey. That was the huge tower moment. And I said, okay, I better keep up with my part of the deal. So that's also, you asked earlier about Casa Lili. That is how everything evolved. Like you said, this path of abundance, the path of purpose, everything just opened up. And I have a note on my on my desk here where it says, remember 15th of January 2021, which was when I actually made that prayer. Because sometimes when I start doubting, just human things where I fear, doubt, and I said, remember that happened. That means anything is possible. Like miracles are the norm.
Well, also,
Really
it's a very
powerful.
good example, I want to say, of ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
And I really believe that because um, it's because we have free will. And so whether it's, I mean, you mentioned angels, God, angels, whatever word we choose to use, it's all part of our higher self, isn't it? Higher consciousness. I mean, I often refer to the galactic families as well, or it could be, passed over loved ones, spirit guides. It doesn't really matter, does it? Who you're talking to. But they can only intervene, they can only intervene so much because the whole point of this human experience is for us to make the choices and for us to take that power. And our power lies in our free will. Our freedom lies in our free will. So what you were doing was you were using your free will and asking. And then as soon as we ask, because in the beginning, when you don't know who you're talking to, or you're skeptical, or you're feeling really low in a low place, you're just like, oh, what's the point? And who am I talking to anyway? Because I don't know what to believe in and stuff like that. But start by just believing in yourself, isn't it? Just believe in yourself and believe that there is something better because, life isn't meant to be a struggle. And I think it's kind of really important. And even if you don't know who you're talking to, it doesn't matter, does it? I love that little prayer. Can you just say it again? Because it sounded really lovely.
So the original one is, Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but just say the word and I shall be healed. I don't know which one. Was it St. Mark's? I'm really bad at St. Lucas, but do look it up. And I flipped it
I
and I
prefer the one that you flipped
yes,
because
I
we
thought
are
about it
worthy,
too.
of course.
And that was the first moment of my self-empowerment. I said, you know what? I said, I am worthy to receive you. Just say the word and I shall be healed.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to put that in the description as well
Yeah,
to
it's beautiful.
well, yeah. I mean, it is surrender. But there's also such an underlying energy of faith in.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, there are three words that kind of part of my mantra embodiment. It's Tiwala, magic, faith. Tiwala in Tagalog means trust, magic, and then faith. And faith is a big one because we spend so much time trying to figure things out, trying to understand, trying to be understood, you know, but there's so much weight, we can offload so much weight if we just have faith and surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but offloading the weight and saying, take this, I don't want to carry this. I trust you, whatever you want to call it, life, the universe, God, whatever name you want to give it. I trust you and I I allow myself, I allow myself to feel free and supported. So that requires faith. And faith is not only about believing, but it's this deeper sense of, I mean, takes some work. It took me some time to get there, but for it to be a knowing. So knowing is beyond belief. It's really like I know with certainty, beyond logic, beyond what I see play out in my 3D circumstances, that all is well, that I'm taken care of, that I'm supported, that I'm guided. Having that deep faith, it really anchors me and it gives me the strength to make what looks sometimes like crazy decisions, bold moves.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about, so that was in 2021, and you've touched on Casa Lily, but I'd love to hear where your journey took you after that,
Yes.
and how you got into the Kundalini yoga and what Casa Lily is to you, and yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, so I had that vision. I said, this is my family home. So, my dad passed away, my brother lives out. So I'm currently here with my mom. We migrate back and forth between the Philippines and here. But this is a beautiful family house. So at that point, I said, you know what? Let's not sell this house. I will try my best to make something out of this. So we cleared it and we had guests over. We had the Airbnb for 5 years and slowly, like you said, you put an intention. All of a sudden, I set the intention, universe, bring me people who could also benefit from this healing that I went through here. So things went step by step. I had to humble myself. I was humbled many times in terms of temperance and patience because I had to, first of all, go through the healing process myself, step by step. I mean, it's ongoing, but the major foundational blocks had to be in place. And then I had to have the tools. So, because I didn't know where to start, but again, in divine timing, every step of the way, like you mentioned in the moon card, this guidance came through and almost like appeared in front of me. Now you do this, and now you do this, and now. So one of my latest acquisitions in this toolkit is Kundalini Yoga. And it's interesting because, I had always been a kind of seeker since the teenage years, and I dabbled in yoga, but it wasn't really sufficient. Back then, it was only about, the physical asanas. But then again, through guidance, Kundalini Yoga came into my experience, and I thought, this is pretty. First, I thought they're absolutely mad, because one of my friends, she was a Kundalini yoga teacher. I went to one of her classes in Manila, in the Philippines, wearing white expands the aura. And they just looked really bonkers to me. Honestly, I thought, this is way too out there. I don't know what this is, but this is too crazy. Maybe they're a sect. Look at them, all look crazy. But, but then, trusting myself, it kept on coming back. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be scientific about this. Yeah, I'm going to use my German brain, switch it on. And as long as this resonates and I can feel for myself that this resonates, that this makes me feel good, then I shall continue. And what I discovered in Kundalini Yoga, it is actually highly scientific because it's teaching us to use the best technology in the world, which is our being, our human beingness. I was going to say the physical body, but all of our 10 bodies. You mentioned that earlier also. So I love that it's scientific. We're in a time where science and spirituality finally meet. And
I have to, yeah, that's one of the
yeah,
taglines. It's like where spirituality meets quantum science.
exactly. We live in such exciting times. So for whether you come from the scientific side, the spiritual side, Kundalini Yoga is really, it has a facet for everybody. And speaking about facets, obviously no yoga is isolated. Kundalini Yoga also comes from these different streams. But I always explain it to my students. If, for example, Hatha, Vinyasa, Ashtanga, they're all different facets from this one diamond. But Kundalini Yoga is the diamond itself. When you mentioned it, it is a highway to spiritual development. Now, again, I also tell my students if you're not into spiritual development, it still has the healing benefits, the scientific, it balances our glands, our hormonal system, our glandular system, which are the masters of our health. So just approach it from any way that you would like to and feel it for yourself. So yeah, Kundalini Yoga came into my path about 2.5 years ago. And I went on this whole journey, I went to India, to the north of India 3 times, first on a pilgrimage, then came the Kundalini teacher training, and I did another training just last November. So it keeps on coming, and it resonates so deeply that it is my path, and I'm excited to share more about it because it's really one of the lesser known yogas also. Even in India, there's a lot of kind of stigma and superstition attached with it. And people talk about Kundalini activation, all these different other modules, which I like to very clearly differentiate. Kundalini Yoga, the one I'm teaching from the Kundalini Yoga Institute, it's from the lineage of Yogi Bhajan. So there's a whole science to this, and we build step-by-step capacity. So I try to bring that across too. Yeah. So that's the Kundalini side, and Casa Lily is more or less the harbor. I call it the kind of central station where I'm trying to base all myself and my offerings. So we just came back from the Philippines a month ago, and I've been spring cleaning. And it's interesting. We were talking about our cars not earlier. I very much in my old program wanted to dive right back in. Okay, this has to be done. I want to do this and this. But I think I prevented a personal tower because I sensed that I had to go about things differently. and actually pause and tune in, tend to my Queen of Cups and just nourish myself more before um, going too much out there. And so I'm building a different relationship with Casa Lily where I don't just want to exhaust myself in nourishing Casa Lily, but I want Casa Lily to nourish
Yeah.
me, you know? Because there nothing will happen if we ourselves are not nourished.
Well, exactly. But also, Casa Lily is a reflection of you, right? So that's how I looked at it, like with the garden as well. And really, you think Casa Lily is your project, right? But it isn't. You are your project. You are the project. Casa Lily is your gift because she gives you something to help you work on your project. It's the same really with learning yoga, isn't it? We think, oh, my project is to learn yoga, but no, it's us that we're learning about during the training and our practice, our personal practice, isn't it? Um, and this stillness that you keep coming back to, I mean, it is so important, isn't it? This I was thinking, yes, I mean, it is the Queen of Cups, but it's also the Hanged Man, isn't it? It's that stillness. Stillness is the access point to acceleration. I bring it back to that all the time because I have an understanding now that when I'm in my place of stillness, divine action will still come through. But what's beautiful about it is only divine action will come through. You won't get all that distraction or doing things that aren't really worth it or what have you, or the struggle, the actions that are involved in struggling and pushing. If you feel like you're pushing energy up a hill, then that's not your destiny and that's not divine action. And stillness, we often judge ourselves for doing nothing. And yet we know from a quantum perspective that the outside is a reflection of the inside. And we know that when we're doing nothing, we're actually integrating everything and we're allowing our body and our nervous system to relax. We're allowing our body to actually choose intuitively what it wants to do. And also to let the heart be heard, and so that the mind can then activate whatever the heart wants us to do. So often, it's that stillness that is, I always think it's solitude, silence, stillness. And the best things in life, or your destiny, however you want to word it or think about it, your abundance, it's all born out of that stillness. And it's not like, oh, I'm really busy. Oh, I'm going to give myself some self-care. No, self-care is the motorway to enlightenment. We were talking about motorways. Self-care is that main road to stay on, because when you're really in alignment with what your soul wants you to do, you won't be able to not move, because the hanged man, he's about non-movement, um, but really, it's about not forcing action, because when we're inspired to do something, we can't not do it. So it's about just taking those actions that we can't not do. So we don't have to sit and think. We can just enjoy that flow, can't we?
Yes.
So
And
yeah, so tell us where is Casa Lily exactly? Because not everybody will be
yeah,
familiar with the area. And
yeah.
how can
So
they contact you?
yeah, I'm tuning in from Javia. So Casa Lili is just on the slopes, lower slopes of the Mongo.
Oh,
And
wow,
if you
beautiful.
know Javia area, yeah, it's between Jesus Pobre and Javia, Carretera Jesus Pobre, Calle Muela. So just by Restaurante El Mongo,
Oh,
that's the
beautiful.
road going up. So it's a very peaceful residential area. And yeah. Well, I'm gonna see, I think after this, well, let's see. But after this month, I'll have a clearer picture. We'll definitely still want to host guests. If you're interested in staying with us, absolutely contact me for the summer. And what was your other question, Deborah?
And how can people contact you? But also,
Yeah.
you say Casa Lily, but how many rooms has it got? Can people hire it to run their own retreats?
I mean, I think at this point I'm open to collaboration
Mhm.
because what I learned also from this past year, I was trying to do a lot on my own, but I'm no longer, I enjoy collaboration. So if you want to collaborate, please also get in touch. But basically, we're talking about a space of we have two rooms for rent. They're beautiful. One is on the top floor with its own terrace. One is on the ground floor and it's shared kitchen. So we're still also co-living in the house. But yeah, so far we've had beautiful people from so many streams of life and bringing their gifts, and we had amazing synergy. So if you're looking for any of that, and also just a place to rest and regenerate and be in a high frequency space, then yeah, this is the place.
Yeah, sounds beautiful. And it has its own website?
Yes, I have a website. I need to update it a little bit, but you can definitely see there's pictures on there also. You can get a better feel.
Okay, I'm going to put the website in the description. And so your Kundalini yoga classes, they're
Yes.
in person. Do you do it online as well or not?
I've done in-person and online classes. I try as much wherever I am. So now I'm here to give online personal classes in person. I'm actually starting um, my in-person classes in Javier. Okay, by the time the video comes out, it will be maybe a little bit later. But starting June, I will have started my in-person classes in town in the dance and fitness studio. So that's on Thursdays, 9 a.m. But do check in if you're interested. Do check in again with me when you
Yeah, yeah,
see the
yeah.
video. But also, yeah, I do give online classes, and I do also have separate classes here in Casa Lily because it's a whole different atmosphere. So the best is to just, whenever you see the video, get in touch with me and see what the updates are. But yeah, I'm absolutely continuing teaching. It's
That sounds amazing. Now, you've mentioned a couple of times about the Philippines. So
yes.
what's your connection there and what's your draw there?
So my mother is actually from the Philippines.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And my brother lives there permanently, and we go back and forth, my mom and I, because we have that strong connection there. We have a little base there too. So we're migrating between Philippines and here, spending half of our time there and half of the time here. So I'm also teaching there, offering my services there, and I do my art in both places. So there is this kind of bilocation going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And it's beautiful that, there's a little bit of different things going on, isn't there? Because I think it's all part of the what I call the old paradigm, going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And we're not one trick ponies, are we anymore? We want to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and be a lot more sovereign and in control of our own timetable, I think. I think
That
that's
is actually the word. In Kundalini Yoga, the goal is sovereignty. And that's a whole exploration what that actually means and what it entails. But yeah, to come back into our sovereignty, that's a big
well, what
thing.
does sovereignty mean for you?
It's being connected to your inner voice in such a way that it tunes out all other voices, which is, difficult because we have cultural voices, family voices, but to be so connected with your intuition, which is connected to your higher self and then God, that you trust yourself, your inner compass, and that you also, so one thing is being aware of that and trusting it, but then also aligning your actions, your habits, the way you speak from most minute detail, if you can, to that sovereignty, so that you literally embody this expression of your unique being. There's nobody else out there. So being so in tune with your key frequency that you shine and express that and become like this vessel through your particular kaleidoscope. We're all like kaleidoscopes of light. You're going to express that light in your unique way in this world. Yeah.
Ah, that's beautiful. I love that. I love the way you worded all of that. Yeah. And the other thing that I'm really curious to hear about is the name change, of course, because I
Yes.
called you Magic Mel and you're now Melanie Amar Vedya.
Yes.
Tell us
So
about that.
we spoke earlier about resonance, no? So we keep on evolving, no? And Magic Mel, it's not that she's not there anymore, but let's say she has integrated, and now Amar Vedya is coming out more. Magic Mel became this phase where I really just had to, address life again like a child, seeing everything like the wonder that the world is now, and having faith in my own magical manifestation powers, and like you said, reconnecting with the joy again.
Yeah.
Um,
And that
and
was your phase just after you were talking about,
that big
asking
tower
you shall
moment.
receive.
Yes,
So you
yes.
went into, and it's interesting that you went into that childlike, you just said, that energy, because it is, isn't it? It's like a rebirth. It's
It was absolute rebirth, and it had my healing journey had a lot to do. I'm sure a lot of you watching with healing the inner child. And since Magic Mel is also this aspect of my inner child where there's joy, where there's wonder, where there's marvel at the world, and innocence also, the pure innocence that we do carry inside. Um, yeah, so that was a big phase and a big aspect of mine, and still is. But now I feel I'm unfolding, or something else is emerging, and that is Amar Vedya. It's actually a Gurbani word, Sikh word. So it's my spiritual name in Kundalini Yoga. We all have a spiritual name, and Amar Vedya is my personal spiritual name, and translates into she who beyond time and space connects with the knowledge and wisdom of God, or Mahadev,
she who beyond time and space connects with the
with the knowledge and wisdom of
knowledge and wisdom of God.
yeah.
Because of course, we're both in Spain. And when I see Amar, I just think love.
Yes, oh my God, I haven't even thought about that. So you could actually see it as the love for wisdom, because Vedya, the
Vedya
Vedic,
is the wisdom, yeah.
yes. So,
The
so,
love of
and,
wisdom.
and the words, carry such big resonance. So it's a frequency.
Yeah.
So I'm tuning myself by consciously using my spiritual name, or the more we say, the more I speak it, the more I tune into it, and the more I try and anchor myself in that new aspect. So, for example, I would ask, well, what would Amadvedya do, or what does it connecting with that aspect of me and embodying that more? So that's the
Yeah.
story behind Amadvedya.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. And I love the way you said that about evolution, because I think it was off camera, though, wasn't it, when we talked about names and the importance of them. I mean, I've talked before about how I had no intentions of taking my second husband's surname, especially as we were living in Spain. What a palaver. But I'm a big fan of the sway test, and I was sway testing the names, and I nearly fell forward when I did Deborah Jane Sutton. And I looked at my husband and said, "Oh, I'm going to take your name." Because somehow it was just more in alignment. For some reason, there was no, nothing to do with my husband. It was just to do with the fact that I felt more expanded. I mean, I felt expanded with my maiden name, of course, because it was a name I identified with my life, but I didn't change my name with the first husband. So I was very identified with my maiden name. But suddenly I just felt this expansion. And what's funny that we're having this conversation today, because yesterday I did a soul blueprint activation. I'm often talking about soul blueprints and how we want to be in alignment with our soul blueprint. And I did a soul blueprint activation, and it came back with this 19-page PDF of like spot on. It was just like, oh, here we go. Amazing. One of those resonances that just make you cry.
Wow.
And it mentioned that my soul name was Dera Shilana.
Wow.
Dera Shilana. And Dera Shilana, I'm still it sounds nice to me. It sounds long, but I've been repeating it to myself, and I feel like it's at a frequency that I'm not quite at. It doesn't feel like it's at a frequency that I want to dismiss. Definitely not. But Dera Shilana, it's interesting because it just came out with it, and I just thought, oh, this is what we're talking about, the evolution of names. And it's like that little child, Magic Mel is in you, Deborah Jane maiden name is in me, Deborah Jane Sutton's in me. I mean, we're all these consciousnesses, isn't it? But as we expand into more of who we are, we literally expanding into, I don't know, more of everything, aren't we? And I guess the names, they words have frequency, we know that. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? So I'm going to be playing with that. And one of the things I learned, and I know it's a little plug for Michelle and Nestor at the Dome in Alcalali, but I've done a couple of courses with them. And on both courses, there were people that didn't like their names. And there were two things. You can either change your name, of course, but one of the suggestions Michelle gave was you can sing your name. You can heal your name through singing it. And I remember, and also she suggested that if you've had an argument or something, or with your partner, or if a relationship's going a little bit stale, maybe you can sing your partner's name and bring it back into frequency, bring it back into that kind of resonance. And I just thought, well, that was a nice little trick. So singing our names, I think, is actually one of the numerous ways that we can come into alignment and raise our frequency and what have you. So yeah, wow.
I love that.
Have you ever thought about singing your name?
Yeah, well, not particularly my name, but it's interesting when you say, singing in general. In Kundalini Yoga, we do a lot of mantra chanting, and trust me, I was somebody I was like, oh my God. But I feel in the resonance of my voice through the chanting, it's more rounded, it has more depth. And by chanting in general, especially sacred sounds, we create a vibration, a frequency, and we literally ourselves are vibrating at that frequency. So it's so powerful. Again, coming back to this notion that we are instruments of the divine. Literally, we are instruments of the divine. So our whole body, is this vibrating chamber. So yeah, and I'll see if I can sing my name. Also, see what that brings about. I'm sure
But yes,
it's
but this
powerful.
chanting and mantras, I find it so interesting because um, I found that I'm really getting into what I'm calling toning, where
Yes,
I just want to produce a tone. Like if I've been practicing yoga or spinning, I'm really into spinning at the moment. And then at the same time, I want to tone, or if I've been doing some breath work, I just want to tone and without thinking about what tone, which chakra sound or what have you, just trusting that our bodies are so intelligent. They
yeah,
know what tone we need. Our minds, our human minds haven't got a clue. So we have to put I have to put Deborah over there and just trust whatever tone comes out. And I'm finding that really different as well for me because I was told at the age of 6 not to sing in assembly at school because I was apparently not in tune. And I believed them. And I spent 50 years not singing and believing that I couldn't sing. And that's why I ended up in the Dome with Michelle and Nestor for 2 courses. And then one of the things in this soul activation that I've just mentioned, funny enough, it talked about tonal frequencies and using them to expand and I was like, yeah, I love it now. And yet I deprived myself of it. I don't want to judge myself for that. But I think that's one of the ways we actually work. I think part of the fun or part of the journey is actually on some level being deprived of whatever it is that we came here to do so that we could have the joy in finding it again.
absolutely. I mean, that's where again where if we take off the labels of good and bad, that journey, in Kundalini Yoga also we talk about uh, there's a word Wahe Guru. Wahe is like
Yeah.
the awe of the journey from ignorance or darkness into knowledge and enlightenment. That's what the word guru means. So it's about this journey. So even we need the darkness, the so-called pain, the suffering to actually, the typical metaphor, the lotus from the mud. It's actually necessary.
But
So
it's the absence. It's not just darkness, is it? It's the
yeah,
absence of something.
yeah, the absence of
Um,
light, that's actually darkness. It's no real darkness, only absence of light.
yeah, exactly. It's the absence of yeah. It's like seeing the absence of who we really are
Yeah.
in order to remember who we really are. Because at
Yes.
the end of the day, it's all about remembering, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's like we know this stuff, but don't you find I find that every day it just gets clearer and clearer, and deeper and deeper,
Yeah.
and more and more joyful, I have to say.
Yes. And more awesome in the big sense, like full of awe.
Definitely,
I love
definitely.
yoga.
Wow, oh my goodness. Oh, Mel, I'm so glad that you said yes to coming on. It has been such a joy talking to you and hearing your side of the cards, your side, your journey, and what you're up to and everything else. I love the way you word things. And I can feel your connection and your passion to share, isn't it? I mean, it's like I mean your yoga, I think it's like I've also been on a yoga journey. Um, and I think it's like that Pablo Picasso quote, isn't it? The meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. So our yoga journeys are really for our own healing. It's numero uno, it's our own healing. But then because we love it so much, and I guess it's all part of the self-love journey, we want to express it, don't we? So then it's that purpose of life is to give it away and share it with other people. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Wow.
you
Is
for
there
having me,
anything?
Deborah. This
Oh,
is
you're
all.
so welcome. Is there anything else you want to say or share before we say goodbye?
I think, we go through things in our personal lives, but I feel just as a message also, if we can take this time again and really come back to this moon card and trust that you can give yourself the permission to slow down, allow yourself to slow down and come really into the body and try to sense your way forward, because there's this beautiful energy around us right now that is actually encouraging us to soften,
Yeah.
to trust enough that we allow ourselves to soften and be supported. If we can tune into that, there's this wonderful energy there that is guiding us and really making things with ease and grace, allow us to ease and grace. So if you've been struggling or too much in your mind, like I've been just recently, come back, just slow down and allow yourself this moment of sensing and sense your way forward, and then you will realize it's much smoother than we try and make it out to be.
I,
That would
you
be my message
and
now.
you talked about being supported. I mean, did you find that when you took that step to ask and you shall receive, that the universe came in and supported you?
Deborah, if sometimes I remind myself, I should write. I have a notebook where I write down all of the insane, beyond my German brain logic, miracles, synchronicities, people, situations out of nowhere appear that are just so screaming in our face that you are supported. If only I'm open enough to actually perceive it, it would be an endless scroll, because there's so many ways that I'm being supported. And I keep on reminding myself
But you had
that
to ask.
yes,
You
and
have to
trust in the
ask.
unseen. Ask and trust, we're kind of limited by our five senses, but trust in the unseen, that life is all happening, like you said, for us. We're not at the mercy of it,
Yeah,
but it's happening for us. So, yeah, really,
brilliant. Ask and you shall receive. And you will be supported. And
absolutely.
thank you so much. If you want to get in contact with Mel, all her details are in the description, and hopefully we'll have another chat at some time. And I am sending you so much love, Mel. Thank you so much. And thank you to anyone that got to the end of the video. Mwah, mwah,
Thank
mwah.
you, Deborah. It
Love
was
you
just such a
all.
wonderful experience also with you. It was like, whoop, flew by the time. Thank you.
So bye. We'll see you in the next recording.
Bye.
Bye.